what I give it. This is from Kenneth Swatis, who is one of my favorite YouTube video affirmation guys. One of my ministerial friends told me about him a few years back when I was kind of in a crisis, and she sent me this one video link to him, which was about 15 minutes long, and I just loved it. He does all of his own music, he does all of the imaging, and he does all of the wording. And one of the things that I really, really appreciate about his I Am affirmations and his Power Thought affirmations is because it's like he's a new thought person. And sometimes it's like my own language and words and phrases are coming out of his mouth, which is so neat to hear. And then he tends to have these kind of sounds at the bottom, which are just like reverberate all over the place and they're kind of hypnotic. So I have been listening to Kenneth Swatis for years, first thing in the morning. That is part of my meditation. And so right now I'm listening to one, and I've been listening to it for months and months and months because it's just the one that kind of feels right. And it's on conquering bad habits, and there's something about self-control in there. I can't remember the exact title. But, oh no, here it is, right here. I am affirmations, conquer bad habits, strengthen self-control, self-discipline, and self-respect. But essentially, all of the things that he does that are like that affirmation sequence are kind of like an affirmative prayer. Because it's just affirming what it is that I want more of in life in the most positive, affirming way. So when I move from Kenneth Swatis, the affirmation, the morning meditation, I move into an actual meditation of just like no thingness and opening up to whatever it is that I want to feel, what wants to be felt, what wants to show up. And this is part of my commitment every single morning. And it's changed a little bit here and there, but it's been like this probably about 1 year into my foundational spiritual studies. So this has been going on for like a good 7 years at this point. And I can feel like big time if I miss a morning for some reason. If I sleep in or if I'm like, oh, I don't really feel like it, which doesn't happen often. But when it does, I don't feel right. Like that jolt of spirituality, that jolt of consciousness, that up-leveling, that grounding, that expansion, all of that reminder that I am so much more than the thoughts that are already starting to come into my head as soon as the alarm goes off, that I am so much more than that. I want to be reminded of that right at the start of my day. Because if I fall into sort of the rabbit hole of I gotta do this and this needs my attention and this and that and so said that last night and I didn't get this done, oh my gosh, that is so easy to spiral into. So Kenneth Swatis, then meditation, and sometimes it's like an hour. And every now and then I'll get into a Joe Dispenza phase, and that would be like 2 hours, which is just and great. And so in the affirmations that I am listening to now and have been for a while, there's something else that he says. I value my energy more than any destructive habit. I value my time more than any self-sabotaging behavior. I am choosing to honor my values. And this takes commitment. It takes intentionality. It takes purposeful deciding and choosing every moment of every day. What is it that I want to focus on? What is it that I want more of with what I'm focusing on? And whatever I'm focusing on, is it giving me what I want, or is it giving me more of what I don't want? And so to get really, really clear on what are the destructive habits that I have, and what are my values, and do they correlate or do they not, is really important, especially in this month of commitment. We need to get really clear on what it is that we value, what it is that we hold dear, what it is that excites us and activates us into stepping into a greater expression of who and what we truly are. Because there are so many reminders. 95% of our day there are reminders of how seemingly limited we can be, about how easy it can be to like slip into collective consciousness because this is what everyone around us is thinking, so it's just easier to kind of go with the flow. We need to commit. If we want to get out of that, and we want to remember who we are, we want to live life lovingly for ourselves, our community, and our world, we need to practice. And so we need to have these commitments. And so for me, this is part of my commitment in the morning. Now, part of my new commitment right now is this class that I'm taking with Neil Douglas Klotz. I've already mentioned it before, Teachings of the Aramaic Jesus, Revelations of the Aramaic Jesus. He's the author of that and several other books. And it is such an amazing way to continue my morning, to be online with him. He's so super chill. He's just an absolute delight to be in community with. And then there are anywhere from 400 to 500 people around the world who are tuning in, and we're all listening to what Neil Douglas Klotz is telling us about these nuanced translations and interpretations of Jesus' teachings that have been misinterpreted because they've been mistranslated. And so I started a couple of weeks ago by saying, or maybe it was last week, by saying that the way he talks about this one thing that is going on is that it's breath. Is this one universal, eternal breath. This huge breath that is just breathing its way in, through, and as everyone and everything. And that we are these pauses, that we are held in these little breaths that this one big breath is taking. And when that breath is released, that's when we expire, and that's when the breath that we've been in, this held breath, goes back into this one universal breath. Last week, we learned about the 4 elements and how inviting the 4 elements into our being invites us and gives us the opportunity to connect more fully with the breath. So there are these phrases that we can chant to invite the earth element, the water element, the fire element, the air or the breath element into our lives more fully, down to the atomic and subatomic level, so that we can really, really anchor ourselves in this incredible knowingness that we are all of it, that we are everything and more, whatever we can fathom with our minds, because it can be kind of hard to fathom. Infinitude, like there's no beginning, there's no end, there's no limitation whatsoever, there's no box, there's no container. It just keeps going. It just is all the time. And that's part of it. It is, it's happening, it's active. In the Aramaic language, there's no word for still or stop or static or motionless. So this energy is always flowing. This breath is always, always breathing. And if we take the opportunity to engage in our breath more intentionally, then we can connect more fully and more deeply to who and what we truly are. And so what I want to offer you today is that as we're going through this class, he's referencing the Lord's Prayer. And he's giving us translations from the Aramaic line by line. And so today it was about the 3rd line, which is normally translated as "Thy kingdom come." And so one interesting thing he said was that a lot of times it seems that the translators who were translating in whatever language mistranslated the gendered feminine words, which actually in this case would be "Thy queendom come," if it were translated, that way. So it's interesting to see that, whether it was guys who were translating or whatever, that the feminine gender was sometimes just moved aside. And I'm not standing here to say, right or wrong or, sort of promote anything. It's just interesting what happened with the language and the translation. But what's really cool is he says that this line, which in Aramaic is "Te te malkutach," translates to, instead of "Thy kingdom come," this is so much more interesting, "I'm really, really ready for the I can," we might say the I am, "to rise from within." It's being in a state of receptivity to just open up to who and what we are that much more fully. And he said that Tay is like a double whammy, like I'm ready, I'm like really ready, I'm like really, really, really ready. Like that's how affirming this declaration is. And so when people say this, when they really know what it is that these words, these sounds represent, they are really declaring that, hey, bring it. I know that I'm so much more than whatever it is that I'm experiencing, whatever I have thought, believed, or felt, and I'm so ready to engage, to activate who and what I truly am. And so what I would like to do with you today, next week we're going to have some guitar to go with, but this week I'm going to ask you to sit up straight. We're going to do a little bit of chanting, because this is going to be another opportunity to connect through breath and through sound, which is a huge part of why speaking Aramaic is just so beautiful and so profound. The English language is very much one of separation. The Aramaic language is one of bringing together. So the line is Tete Malkutach, that's the third line. But in order to get there, we're going to do the first line, which is Abun de Bashmaya. And let me just, there we go. So that's second line, Abun de Bashmaya. And what that means, this is the first line of the Lord's Prayer. The way that he's translated it is, Father mothering of the cosmos, birthing and creating all that moves in light and sound. Okay? This is what we're opening up to, all right? So I invite you to close your eyes. I invite you to think these words. As you inhale, think Amun, and as you exhale, Devashmaya. So I invite everyone to inhale, thinking Amun, and exhale, Devashmaya. Inhale, Amun. Exhale, Devashmaya. Again, inhale, Amun. Exhale, Devashmaya. And this is the chant. Amun Devashmaya, Amun Devashmaya. That's it. So let's give it a go. Amun Devashmaya, 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 Amun Devashmaya. Continue breathing and continue singing softly in your head. Amun Devashmaya, Amun Devashmaya, Amun Devashmaya, Amun Devashmaya. Now just breathing in Amun, breathing out Devashmaya, breathing in Amun, breathing out Devashmaya. And as you continue breathing in and breathing out, now we're going to switch to the third line, which is Te Te Malkutach. And if you want to take a look at the screen, the words are on there. And you're just going to silently breathe and say them to yourself. Breathing in on Te Te, breathing out on Malkutach. So just in your head, I'm going to say them so you'll hear me say them. Breathing in Te Te, breathing out Malkutach. Breathing in Te Te, breathing out Malkutach. Continuing to breathe. I invite you to close your eyes and lower your gaze. Breathing in Te Te, breathing out Malkutach. And as you keep breathing, as you keep feeling, as you keep connecting, I now invite you to bring in a situation in your life that requires a choice. And as you keep breathing, as you keep connecting, make a choice. Just a choice, and then notice how it feels in your body. No judgment. No making sense of anything, just noticing how it feels. Paying attention specifically to your heart. Te Te Malkutach. Te Te Malkutach. And now let that choice go. Continuing to silently breathe in, te te, makuta. Te te, makuta. Te te, makuta. Continuing to breathe and now bringing in a different choice for that situation. And letting that land where it may. Noticing how that feels. Paying attention to your heart. Continuing to breathe. Just noticing. And now let that go. And now I invite you to breathe from below and from above at the same time. And breathe out through your heart. So breathing in from the earth, the water, feeling it rising, breathing down the light from above, feeling it settling, and then breathing out through your heart. And continuing with 3 more breaths like that, breathing in, Abum, breathing out, Devashmaya. Breathing in, Abum, breathing out, Devashmaya. Last one, breathing in, Abum, breathing out, Devashmaya. Returning to your normal breath, letting all of that go, and then gently opening your eyes, rubbing your hands together, wiggling your toes, wiggling your body around to come back into your body, and right here, right now. So this is an opportunity to tune in, to really notice who's making the decision, what's making the choices, and where are these choices being made from? Are the choices and decisions that we're making being made from what we would call in science of mind the relative, the conventional, the world out here? Or are they being made from within? That intuitive wisdom that is always in that play, that is always in flow, that is the truth and the essence of who and what we are. Checking in with our heart is an amazing way to know. Because when it's from within, it feels warm, it feels easy, it feels expansive. When it's from out here, it can feel constricting, it can feel hard, demanding. So just giving yourself the opportunity to tune in, to check in through your breath, with your heart, to really, really, really sort of hear, where are these choices coming from? Now the other thing that is in my purview right now, because it's summer, my favorite summer read is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I read and or listen to this at least 1 to 2 times every summer. I've been doing it for about 8 years. And there is a beautiful passage towards the end of the book, after the main character has gone through all of his trials and tribulations and is so near to realizing what they call in the book his personal legend. After he begins with feeling super content with I'm a happy shepherd and my life is good, and then to realizing, wait a minute, maybe there's a bit more, and then, going on this crazy journey where he almost stops a few times, but there's something in him, that's calling him, that's pulling him, and eventually at the end, it's all about the heart and what he feels and how connected he is to the soul of the world and to everyone and everything. And so towards the end, it says, from then on, the boy understood his heart. He asked it please never to stop speaking to him. He asked that when he wandered far from his dreams, his heart press him and sound the alarm. The boy swore that every time he heard the alarm, he would heed this message. And so this takes me to the title of my talk today, which is, okay, just in case you look at the title, remember the movie from like, I don't know, the 80s, 90s, whatever, it was, I don't think I've actually seen the movie, but the ad with the baby with the sunglasses. So this phrase, look who's talking, was in my head. And so I'm like, okay, you know, show me a baby with sunglasses. And there were all these cute babies with sunglasses and everything. But then came this one. And this one I thought looked super mystical. Not even wearing sunglasses, clear lenses. What does that tell you? And it's just so tuned in. So dialed in. Not distracted from anything. And so my talk title isn't, look who's talking. It's, look, who's talking? And so this is what I want to invite all of us to pay more attention to. Who is making the choices? Who is making the decisions? Is it the people around us? Is it our family? Is it the media? Is it collective consciousness? Is it our memories of what we did the day before, and like 40 years before that? Or is it the intuitive wisdom that is always in play, that is always ready to be unleashed and to nurture and to guide us into something new and different and more of who we truly are? That's what I'm inviting us to do. And so at the end of another book, there's a beautiful passage. For people who don't know, this is my book. And it just reminded me, I thought this fits in with this. So I'm going to leave you with this quote. I've come to realize that the more we embody the infinite creativity, resilience, and love we are at our core, individually and collectively, the better we are able to cultivate a global community founded in love, regardless of what is going on. As we continue to live from and as love, we actively immerse ourselves in the dreams of our heart and allow our soul to start singing. The more we actively tune in to the extraordinary, vibrant, fulfilling life that is ours to live, the more we unearth the brilliance, mystery, and purpose of soul that is ours to discover. So as we keep moving through this month of commitment, as we continue creating life more intentionally and living it more purposefully, I really invite you to pay attention. And I really invite you to consider, when decisions are being made and life is happening, look, who's talking. Thank you, and so it is.